Hello and welcome to Stanwick Village Hall. My name's Rebecca and I'm the Facilities Manager down here. Congratulations Acre on your 75th anniversary. Stanwick Village Hall is 10 years old this year. It's been 10 years since we had the handover from the builders of our brand new building, and we've got a huge thank you to Acre, because Acre have been with us all the way, from when we were starting from scratch, looking at setting up policies to get users in initially. Just to give you a little bit of a history about the building and the site here. Originally on this site, it's very hard to believe now, there was an old British Legion Hall that had gone to rack and ruin. The parish council were aware, but also property developers were aware as well. Eventually, with the support of the parish council, a small group of community members set up the Village Hall Trust, which is the trust we know today, which actually runs and manages the whole hall. Behind me is the plaque that names the founding trustees. Without these community members volunteering huge amounts of time, we wouldn't have the hall we know here today. Obviously, there was a lot of liaison with the building, we had a design and build, there were delays, but then eventually we had the handover from the builders, and it enabled us to start to get things up to scratch, get our health and safety policies in and get our users in. We're currently in the lobby area of the Village Hall. The lobby area is quite a vast area, and it's the first thing visitors see when they enter the hall. Really useful area. We've got the comfortable seating, so if parents are waiting for children in dance groups or martial arts groups, it's the perfect area, particularly when the weather's bad or dropping off preschool. You will see just by the lobby seating a beautiful window that actually frames the church. This window is known as Amanda's window. Amanda was one of our founding trustees who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. And it was Amanda, when we were looking at the designs of the building, suggested the shape of the window, originally it was rectangular, and said it would frame the church, and it does perfectly. We do have a plaque for Amanda next to the window. We've also got commemorative Remembrance Day plaques within the hall, details about fundraising events. The hall do tend to do a lot of fundraising for the hall, but also we're looking at doing some free events in the autumn to give back to the local community, spider drives, bingo nights, to actually get people back in and using the hall post-COVID. Above me, you will also see two huge pictures. Luckily, we're very lucky to have these pictures. They were donated by a family in the village, and they were painted by the late Fred Page, who was an art teacher locally. They are pictures of the village. One is actually the old school, which is now the post office next door. So it's lovely to have these community links within here. Also, running off from the lobby, we have got the main hall and the committee room, but we've also got my office. During term time, when the hall is open, the lobby area is open for the public, and the office, we run an open door policy. Anybody who wants to book the hall, anybody who wants to set up a new group, we offer quite a lot of support with advertising on our social media channels and things as well. That's always available. Next to my office, we have another meeting room that was originally a meeting room that is now hired out permanently by our parish council, and the parish clerk works down here. And again, in non-COVID times, it's an open door policy for local residents to come out and talk and find out about the community. It's a lovely, buzzing area in the week time when the clerk is here, myself and the preschool are running out of the building. I'll talk more later about all the groups that run within the hall, because there's a vast variety that we have in here. We're now going to move down and have a look at the toilet corridor. It's a self-contained corridor, gents, ladies, fully disabled accessible toilet. The whole building is disabled accessible, and baby change unit. Okay, we've now moved into the main hall, which we come in from the lobby area. The main hall is really the showcase room of the hall. When the trustees were looking at building the hall and looking at what would be best for the community, obviously a lot of research was done. ACRE were consulted, they visited a lot of different village halls, looked at layouts, looked at storage, which is quite a contentious issue with village halls, as I'm sure most of you will be aware of. They also surveyed the village. After surveying the village, one of the most popular things that came back was the village would like a badminton court. So hence, this is a multi-purpose room, but it also has facilities for badminton courts in here. You'll see the flooring, we've got the court laid out. The floor is actually an oak-sprung activity floor, perfect for badminton, perfect for our dance groups, perfect for our exercise groups and martial arts groups. We also have badminton posts, and we have quite a few community members, families, small groups of mums that do hire the court on a regular basis for badminton. Due to it being a badminton court, the ceiling is also high. The only recommendation we do make, which I discovered quite early on, is it's quite good to have a coloured shuttlecock, because our ceiling is white, so to spot a white shuttlecock is quite useful. You'll also see around the side we've got soundboards. Very soon after the building was built, coming in here, we discovered it was extremely echoey, even with one or two people. It was like the old gyms because of the breeze blocks. So we were very fortunate to get funding to put in these amazing soundboards and the air conditioning. The air conditioning is really reserved for large events and for when music's playing, when we have to have the doors and windows closed. We are actually in the centre of the community, so we're very conscious of our neighbours around us. So if we have a wedding, if we have a party, we close the doors and windows and we put the air conditioning on, so then our local residents aren't disturbed. And actually we've done lots of sound tests with the building, with the drum kit in here as well. The soundboard you will hear at the end of this video being put to fantastic use by our local string sinfonia from Manor School, who actually at the last minute gathered together to do our recording for our concert last week. The other things to mention in the hall here is the serving hatch, which you'll see come from the kitchen as well. The store covers at the end, we have 100 chairs and 20 tables for events. This room is used for a variety of things, as you can imagine. Sports, we have a table tennis group that play in the league, we have Tai Chi, we actually have karate classes and adrenaline martial arts. We have lots of ladies fitness classes, dance, ballet, modern. We're pretty back to back. Some nights we have 3 groups running one after the other. We have a club-a-size, which is a fantastic fun group for the ladies. We also have chair dancing. So we have all sorts going on down here. The room is very popular for children's parties. The height of the ceiling lends itself to bouncy castles. So it's a brilliant space for that. It's also great for family celebrations, for wakes, for anniversaries, all types of parties. We will in a minute lead out to the patio area, which leads out from the hall. Again, this is fantastic for functions. It can be used, you'll see in a minute, can be used for hog roast, for barbecues. We've had bars out there, and it's also used for our preschoolers, their outside area. It's a little bit of a hidden gem because it's a sun trap, it's out the back of the hall, it's very quiet, but it's also all contained. So if you're having a birthday party down here and the weather's nice, you've got that area and the children can play safely into. Okay, we're now in the patio area. Excuse the brightness, it's a beautiful day here. The other thing to mention on the side of the patio area as well, we've got a wonderful grass area. This isn't owned by the hall, the grass is owned by the parish council. It's open village space, but it is a lovely space. Wedding couples, when we've had weddings here, have used it for photographs. It's a lovely open space that just enhances the hall, and we're very grateful. we're now in the kitchen. Just a quick warning, if anybody is affected by strobe lighting, please look away just for this bit. We have got LED lighting in here which isn't coming up very well on the recording. We were fortunate 12 months ago to get a grant to completely replace all the lighting within the building for LED to keep the hall green. As part of our green plan, we're also looking long term at putting solar panels on the back of the building to supply our hot water and the electric. The heating is very efficient at the moment because we are a modern hall. We're only 10 years old. We have underfloor heating and it is quite efficient, so we don't need to look at that too immediately with our green plan. Okay, back to the kitchen that we're in here. When the trustees were researching building the hall, obviously they looked at all different options. We were very fortunate again to have some caterers in the village who helped and advised. With anything electrical, gas, we tend to use our local village people, which is lovely and it makes a lovely community feel for the village. The caterers advised us to go for a commercial kitchen that would stand the test of time, but also it's fantastic when we do have large events. It's fantastic for small events. Our table tennis group will have their teas and coffees breaks, open the hatch and serve it during their sessions. But also if we have a funeral wake and there's caterers in, if we have a wedding and there's caterers in, it's brilliant. We have a large commercial fridge, a freezer. This area here just below the hatch is also a warming cupboard, which is fantastic when you're catering for large events. We have also used it as the Village Hall Trust. We've run quite a few fundraising events. We've done quizzes and fish and chip suppers. And sometimes if the fish and chip arrives in 2 batches, we put half in the warming cupboard. It works just like an old-fashioned hostess trolley. So it's a great asset, and to serve out and just serve to the hall is fantastic. Behind me, we've obviously got the kettles, we've got an urn. We have got mugs and everything stored in here as well. The sinks, and we've got the oven. What you will see in a minute that will take you in to have a quick peek is our kitchen store area. We have crockery and cutlery for up to 100 people, and beer glasses, wine glasses and half-pint glasses. So most events, everything is there and available for people just to come in and use. Hello, we're now in the committee room, which is technically our meeting room area space. The doors that I'm standing in, you'll see behind me there's a corridor. This corridor comes from the lobby up to the kitchen area, and also behind that you'll see the main hall. I'm pointing this out because this makes this room extremely versatile for functions. If we have a larger function like a wedding or a large party, often hires will hire this room and the main hall because this can be used for a bar, it can be used for catering facilities, sometimes at weddings it's used to put presents in. So there's a variety of uses here. There are also 2 other doors off this room. One of the doors leads out to the lobby, which is the other side of the door you saw previously, and the other door leads to the kitchen area, so hirers can access the kitchen. Just as a note, when we generally hire out, the kitchen hires out with the main hall, but if committee room users would like access to the kitchen or need a kettle or a drink, if they talk to myself, we can arrange that, either put a kettle in the room or see if how much the hirers are using the room and when. You will see in this room is carpeted, so it's a little bit different to the main hall, which makes it a nice, cosy meeting space and area. The entire building is underfloor heating, which is very efficient and very useful. As a hall and as a trust, we are trying to keep the hall as green as possible. We did have a grant that we were very successful with 12-18 months ago, that we were enabled to put LED lighting in all of the building, which helped. We are also looking at moving forward to putting solar panels on the back to actually supply our electricity and heat our hot water. Just to talk about the usage and the purpose of this room, obviously our parish council use it for their meetings, and the Village Hall Trust use it for their meetings, and a lot of community groups within the village do hire for their meetings. Sometimes we move the tables out and we have small groups of exercise classes in here. We've had yoga, Pilates, one-to-one self-defence classes. We also have local business groups that we'll hire for meetings. And a couple of years ago, we did invest in a large screen, a remote control screen, which is great for projectors, presentations, for film shows and things as well. We do have a local coffee shop next door and post office, so it works fantastically. Business meetings come in to use our hall. Sometimes they go next door for lunch. So there are those facilities within the village as well. I'll finish now. Thank you very much for listening. Rather than leaving you with me, I think I've given you quite a lot of information of our hall in Stanwick. If you do want a little bit more and you want to find out more about us, there's an awful lot of information on our website, www.stanwickvillagehall.org. I recommend looking at the facilities tab because it has lots of pictures of these rooms and details of the facilities we've got on offer. There's also a regular users tab that shows you the variety of groups we do have in here. One group that we have in here that's very unique to Stanwick is Stanwick Handbell Ringers that meet weekly on a Monday. And we are a multi-purpose building and we have a balance with looking after all our users that way. My name's Rebecca, as I said at the beginning. My email is on the website. You can also contact me via the website, via my email. We've also got social media pages, Facebook, Stanwick Village Hall, and Twitter feed, VH Stanwick. So if you want to find out more, please follow us and look on there. We're always happy to work with other halls. We've had a lot of support from other halls through ACA over the years with questions and things we've tried. Always happy to talk to other Village Hall committee members. If you want to get in touch, we're happy to help you. Lots of people have helped us over the years as well. Please do. Rather than listening to me, I'm going to leave you with a superb group that recorded in the hall the other week. They call themselves the Manners String Symphonia. They're a small group of musicians from the small secondary school locally who unfortunately due to COVID restrictions weren't able to have their music concert this year. They decided off their own bat that they could get together distanced and play and perform. So hired the hall and performed, and it just showed the soundboards in the main hall off to fantastic. It shows them working fantastically. Thank you very much for listening and enjoy the string performance.